I'm always stressed out, and when I try to relax, it only gets worse, which is why I came up with 5 sketchbook ideas to help me turn my stress into something creative and fun. Welcome back, I'm Christine, and this is Mike. Did you know that art isn't just about making something beautiful? It can be used to release emotions and to find a sense of calm. So grab your sketchbook and let's transform your stress into some creative art. It might even make you feel better. I don't want you to stress about the art supplies, which is why this entire video incorporates mixed media. I've got bubbles, crayons, and every acrylic paint pen I own. Yes, I painted my nails, and trust me, they look just as weird to me as they probably do to you. The first idea took the internet by storm 2 years ago, and it's called neurographic art. To make neurographic art, start by creating intersecting lines on your page. Once that's complete, you go through and round off each corner to eliminate any sharp edges. This step can take a while, but the repetitive motion and focus required act as a simple distraction from stress, promoting relaxation. I found myself going over each section multiple times because it was satisfying to smooth out the edges. If any edges were stressing me out, I just kept smoothing them, making them smaller until I was satisfied. The next step is to fill the smaller areas with color. As you fill each area, imagine the colors representing the things that are stressing you out. You can choose colors that express the emotions you're feeling, or you can use all the colors of the rainbow like I did. Don't worry, I'll dive deep into color theory in future videos, especially where we explore more chaotic uses of color. But when I made this video, I needed something vibrant to help me find the sense of calm that I was looking for. I left some of the areas without color because I wanted to fill them with lines that start close together and then spread apart. This is called Zentangle, which is another way to relax while creating art. Combining it with neurographic art is a cool way to get benefits of both methods at the same time. Plus, it helps balance the design. It makes the page look more interesting without stressing about how to fill the empty space. Now that one page is complete, you can fill in the other page on the spread the same way, or you can follow along with me as I turn it into a spider web. I drew the web, then I added more intersecting lines and rounded out each corner. Each color I add to this web helps me capture an emotion and turn it into something I can reflect on. This moment is all that matters. The more you focus on what you're creating right now, the more your stress will fade away, getting caught in the web. It's easy to feel powerless when dealing with emotions because they aren't physical. But when we express them through art like this, it becomes easier to take back our power and feel better about our current situation, whatever it may be. To tie everything together, I added a spider in the corner. This spider represents the external help we all need sometimes to push us to express our emotions. It could represent a friend, a family member, or some crazy girl that talks into a paintbrush microphone on YouTube. Yep, that's me. It's time to play with some crayons. Fun fact, I recently discovered I've been saying crayon my whole life when it's pronounced crayon. So if I say it wrong, I apologize. This is the easiest sketchbook idea in the entire video, but it also has the most meaning. It gets pretty deep. Have you ever played with one of those rainbow scratch art pads? Well, they're actually a great way to visualize and accept stress in our lives. Before I explain, let me show you how to make your own in your sketchbook. First, fill the center of your page with as many colors as you want. Make it as bright as possible, but remember, you'll need to use crayons for this step. Once you're done, paint over it with black acrylic paint. As you do this, imagine that the black acrylic paint is your stress, and it's covering up the beautiful things in your life. Stress has the ability to mask your happiness, making it difficult to find. But if you gently scratch at the surface and work through what's causing stress, you can rediscover your happiness. For this step, I'm using this palette knife to scrape away the surface of black acrylic paint to create the word love. And if you make a mistake like I did, you can always cover it up with more acrylic paint and come back to it later. I used a couple of different tools to scrape away at the top layer of paint, and it was so satisfying. I felt like a kid again, and I didn't want to stop. Once I saw all of the colors underneath the layer of black paint, I got excited and I kept adding more to the spread. I didn't care about my line work, composition, or color. I truly had a sense of happiness and relief from this page. This is my favorite spread in this video because it illustrates that stress will never completely disappear. It will always be a part of our lives in some way. However, if we learn to scrape away the surface of stress to rediscover our joy, we find that, like the black paint, stress can make the things we enjoy even more beautiful. Stress can help us focus on what truly matters by teaching us to appreciate the small moments of color and joy as we manage to cope with it. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just wipe your stress away? Well, then this next idea is for you. I'm using some spray bottles I picked up from the dollar store. I filled each one with paint and added a little bit of water. After I shook everything up, I added some paper behind my pages to protect the surface, and then I sprayed each color onto the page. I'm creating a dark, stormy sky filled with rain clouds. These splatters will be my base layer, and they represent stress. As I smear the background with my fan brush, I imagine my stress seeping into different areas of my life, clouding my judgment and making me feel pretty miserable. Stress is not an organized emotion. It's chaotic and sloppy. So take this opportunity to be sloppy and embrace every imperfection as you fill this spread. Once you're finished adding doodles and layers of paint, it's time to incorporate the healing aspect of this sketchbook idea. You're going to need a roll of tape and a dry erase marker for this step. Apply the tape on top of the clouds, and then with the dry erase marker, write what's stressing you out right now in this moment. I'm using orange because it shows up better on camera, but your words don't have to stand out. They can blend in with the background as much as you like. After you record all of your stress on this page, take a minute to reflect on what you wrote. When you're ready to let go of your stress, take your hand and wipe them away one at a time. If you're not quite ready to let all of them go, only remove the worries you're okay with leaving behind and let the rest remain. You don't have to overcome all of your stress right now. You can revisit the sketchbook spread later, but for now, let's move on to the next idea. Before we move on, I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you for all of your support. Mike especially wanted to thank you because he's been getting so much love. You've helped me create a safe space on YouTube where we can openly talk about our emotions, and that's a big deal because it's very difficult to be vulnerable. I am so grateful to have you on this journey with me as I create these sketchbook idea videos. If you're enjoying them as much as I am, go ahead and give this video a like, and let's jump into the next idea. Water has the ability to change and move in countless ways, much like the emotions we experience when we're stressed. When we use water in art to show our feelings, it helps us understand and deal with our emotions more easily. Sometimes these emotions are turbulent and they feel out of control because they're screaming to be looked at. The more you ignore them, the louder they'll scream, causing more and more stress. This idea is really cool. I want you to create some chaotic waves that are crashing around the edges of your sketchbook spread. Imagine the sound of the roaring waves crashing together, begging for your attention. Make sure you keep the middle of the spread open because that's where the magic of this sketchbook idea is going to happen. After your waves are complete, it's time to add meaning to this piece. What do you like to do when you're feeling stressed out? Now, I'm not a ballerina, but I love to dance. And the easiest way for me to find relief within stressful situations is to turn up my music and dance. Obviously, in the privacy of my own home. I don't want to scare anyone. Whatever you like to do, try to represent it in the middle of the spread. This will symbolize how you like to find relief and create balance when dealing with stress. No matter how stressful things might be, it's so important to find that one thing that lights you up, even if it's for a second. This spread is a reminder that even when things are chaotic, you have the power inside to find balance. It honors your inner strength, helping you remember that you can find peace when things get tough. Now that I showed you how to make art depicting how you can find balance during stress, let's focus on finding the feeling of relief. This is the part of the video where I encourage you to create anything you like. Connect with the things you love and fill this spread with them. I love fantasy art. I think it's absolutely mesmerizing, which is why I wanted to create a peaceful ocean scene with a fantasy aspect to it. I also used my favorite bubble art technique with my favorite colors, but things didn't exactly go as planned. Ironically, as I was creating this spread, it was also stressing me out. Instead of relaxing into it and appreciating what I liked about it, I found myself focusing on every crooked line while I fought the urge to rip it out and start over again. So I took a deep breath and I started to think about why I didn't like it. I realized that I thought my art should look a specific way, and because it wasn't how I envisioned it in my head, that it was bad art. Then it hit me. I feel the most stressed when life doesn't go the way I envisioned. I get upset when reality doesn't match the story I created in my head. But then I realized if everything went exactly how I wanted, life would be pretty boring. There would be no challenges, no growth, and nothing worth sharing with you. Like the imperfections in my art, the things that stress me out the most have shaped who I am and taught me how to grow through different situations. Without those struggles, I wouldn't have the same perspective I have now. And just like that, I started to appreciate everything on this spread. The small imperfections make it special because they're unique to me. In fact, that's what makes expressive art so cool. It's those imperfections that give it character and make it stand out. Embrace your imperfections and see them as a part of what makes you and your art unique. Redefine what causes you stress as a part of your creative process and let those imperfections be what sets you apart from everyone else. If at any point during this video you realize that you're not just suffering from stress and that you're actually suffering from anxiety, go ahead and watch this video next and I'll see you there. We'll see you there. I keep forgetting about him. I'm sorry.